right, welcome back.
We're here. Welcome to Multiply Your Why, a Missio podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Andrew Spikes, CEO of Missio.
And I'm Alin. I'm the Director of Strategy at Missio.
And we're here to chat with you, faith-driven leader. Maybe you have a church that you work at. Maybe you own a business. Maybe you're the VP or CEO at a company, and you bring your faith to work. So do we.
Yep.
And we're here to chat about all things mostly related to marketing and growth and growing in a healthy way. And that's what this podcast is really all about. And today we're going to talk about something that has exploded.
Yep.
Short form video.
Short form video. Now, when we say short form video, we're primarily talking about like 60 to 90 second, mostly vertical video that really has taken off. And let's start with this is not necessarily a new topic per se, but the acceleration that short form video is continuing to grow and the underutilization that, I mean, we're personally seeing. We're a marketing company, right? And so we work with a lot of churches, faith-based leaders, nonprofits, organizations that I think are still wildly underestimating the power of short form video. That I'm like, man, this is worth a conversation. This is worth a conversation of why short form video is on the rise, why it's not going away, and how to leverage it to continue to grow your church, your nonprofit, your business, things like that.
Yeah, and right off the bat, I think the main reason I think it's important to put this into the top 5 of episodes we do is because the people who generally watch our podcast or the ones that we work with are churches.
Yes.
Churches are sitting on a gold mine of content.
Yes.
That
gold mine.
Borderline no other organization type or entity type can touch. Like, this is taking you and I work. We have to set up. We have to go to a studio. We got to do a podcast. We got to record it. Whereas churches literally every single week have a platform and a microphone and press record every single week. And they're sitting on a gold mine of content to turn into short form video content.
Yeah, you are on a 52-week cycle of consistent content creation. Like consistent content creation that can be used in multiple ways on multiple different platforms, right? And you're obviously alluding to Sunday services, which include teaching, which how many hours is your teaching pastor prepping and writing this sermon, right? Like
at least 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Except for the churches that are like, I think we should just go by the Spirit. I think we should just walk it.
The sermon lasts 3 hours, but if they prepped, it could have been done in 20 minutes.
Yeah. I didn't prep enough to shorten this sermon. Which I'm not opposed to anybody being led by the Spirit and
navigate. We just lost half our audience.
Yeah, they're like, you're kidding. But no, that I mean, in that sense, all you're doing is necessary. I mean, if we're gonna pun multiply your why, that is the quintessential of multiply your why. Is take the concept of your Sunday sermon. Now we're already jumping into practical tips. Yep. But in this, you have this piece of content. And I don't want to degrade it down to a piece of content, but you have this thing that you've invested tremendous amount of hours and efforts, and you're gathering all these people in this building to experience. And what you could do is say, hey, instead of experiencing it one time, I want you to experience it all over the globe, whenever, in bite-sized formats that people are ingesting already. Like, this is the quintessential of going where the people are instead of consistently asking them to come to you. I mean, that's social media in general, but short-form video is your medium right now.
So let's talk about it. Talk about the importance of short form video. Why should a church, let's start a church and then we'll go to a business or nonprofit, but why should a church care about short form video from your standpoint?
Well, there's some stats and there's some surveys that we looked at, and these surveys have showed us that that you get 5 to 7 times more engagement. Businesses, organizations, churches have seen 5 to 7 times more engagement on short form video than, say, a photo or a graphic or a normal style post. That stat alone, in understanding that, is a big endeavor, because there is a big endeavor in investing in short form video, chopping it up, captioning it up, slicing it, finding the right piece, all that stuff. Like, it takes more work. Or if you're shooting something unique, right?
And just as a definition, short form video, you said it's 60 to 90 seconds.
60 to 90 seconds, primarily vertical.
Yep.
Like nobody's experiencing horizontal.
AKA short form. Okay.
Yeah. 60 to 90 seconds. So
when you say 5 to 7, that's
times.
Times.
Five
so
to
that's
7
500 people as opposed to 100.
That's exactly
5,000 as opposed to 1,000.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So if I were to post a graphic about whatever, a kid's summer thing that a church is doing, as opposed to shooting a short form video, whether it's a talking head or some B-roll or whatever it is, that short form video content is likely going to naturally perform better. But a lot of people are experiencing a 5 to 7 return on the performance, which means you're interacting with a lot more people, because honestly, it's just how people are consuming content nowadays. It is literally the way they prefer to consume content. So right off the rip, we're talking about the impact of short form video. We're talking about people actually utilizing it in a meaningful way to reach more people. To disregard that, what I say is almost irresponsible. Almost.
Yeah. I mean, it's short form video. I think about my own behavior, but then there's stats that we have that back it up as well. But I don't have a cable subscription. I really don't have time, and I don't really watch movies. And
What do you guys just like watch YouTube at night?
I watch YouTube.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, sometimes we'll watch Netflix, we'll go to YouTube, but I watch YouTube, and that's 20 minutes long episode of this dude with a camera. But now, entertainment, education, information is happening shorter and shorter.
Yes. That's actually one of our stats.
Like, for it.
One of the stats that we pulled up is in a survey by Animato, 93% of businesses reported gaining a new customer due to an educational short-form video. 93% of businesses acquired a new customer due to an educational, because you had mentioned that. People want to learn something in 60 to 90 seconds. They don't want to learn it in 22 minutes.
No, they don't. And they're on that platform. So the reason that stat is so high is because they're going to where the attention is.
Yes.
The attention right now is largely on short form video.
Yeah.
TikTok exploded off of this concept, right?
Yeah.
And it exploded so much that it took market share away from Facebook and Instagram and even YouTube. Now, all three of those other power players, well, two, because Meta is both Instagram and Facebook, but both Google and Meta have integrated short-form video because TikTok saw so much success off of it. The attention has gone there. And so for a church, we're talking about churches, to not be there, it's like me leaving an opportunity on the table that, it's borderline ridiculous.
Yeah. And I think you're talking about the big players. Something that people associate very heavily when you talk about short form video, in your head, you probably thought TikTok immediately, right? Mm-hmm. TikTok did have, this is a study from 2020. In 2020, obviously everybody was digital and things like that, but TikTok had 22 billion hours of videos viewed in 2020. Here's something you may not know for 2023.
Drum roll.
YouTube Shorts is eclipsing TikTok as the fastest growing short form video platform. And here,
my daughter's contributing to that.
Yeah, those 22 billion hours.
Golly, if I'll see one more slime video.
Yeah, well, she's probably how to make the slime.
Yeah.
What's happening is, and TikTok is trying to respond to this. I just think this is wildly interesting. People are on TikTok for entertainment and some education, but primarily entertainment. I want to laugh. There are people doing funny stuff, things like that. But a lot of things that TikTok had against them was the algorithm, right? If you hop on TikTok, you would probably get an algorithm that you would deem slightly inappropriate. And you have to fix the algorithm where you have to go find people that you follow or find cooking channels or guitar or whatever you like, or, and so TikTok had that against its name. So especially in the church world, a lot of churches were hesitant because they were like, man, all I hear about is inappropriate content on TikTok, whether it's, females or whatever it is, doing whatever on TikTok that's just like, I don't want my kids looking at this or things like that. But anywho, in this, that's not necessarily what drove people to YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts is capitalizing, one, because they had billions of people on YouTube every day, but YouTube is a search engine, which means when somebody searches, how do I play that piano part or how do I cook that recipe, YouTube is feeding in shorts now, and people can now learn something in 60 to 90 seconds. How do I create that graphic design? Whatever it is. How do I learn the Bible or learn this about the Bible? You know, all of those things. And TikTok is trying to respond with search, where they're adding search and they're testing it and things like that. But you don't go to TikTok to search.
I personally do not.
Yeah. I mean, you might. Yeah.
I did hear the other day that said, that Gen Z are, how we, our parents used the Yellow Pages for answers. We use Google, and Gen Z is treating TikTok and some of these other short form videos as like a Q&A, like for real life advice.
Oh, elaborate.
Yeah, it's like, how do I, I don't know, how do I prep chicken for this dish? Or
okay, got it.
Or
yeah,
how
it's
do
true.
Yeah, it is. Like, how do I literally did that. I will tell you this. I admit this. I did look at TikTok the other night for how to make the perfect steak. So there is, to
Praise
your point,
God. Spiritual things.
It was vastly impactful. Anyway, so it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And churches especially are just uniquely positioned like no other organizational type to leverage it in an amazing way for outreach, for real like ministry impact outreach.
Yeah.
Like, this is who Jesus is. This is what the good news is all about, like legit outreach. But there's another part around like your organization, your ministry's metrics that you're measuring. How many people found us on social media? How many, if I'm losing connection in discipleship Monday through Saturday, how do I connect with them when they're not in the four walls of our church? Right? Social media is an impactful way to do that. And to take it a step further, short form video is the way to really capitalize on that social media impact Monday through Saturday. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And that's honestly, obviously as a marketing company, that's something we have to study and figure out. And it is something that, and not necessarily a shameless plug or whatever, but we offer this as a service to churches because it is that big a deal. Like we'll take their sermons, their worship clips, we'll chop it up, we'll put it on those platforms. But there's a multiplier behind this where, didn't we just mention all the platforms that do this? Facebook has Reels, Instagram has Reels, TikTok, YouTube. Okay, so that's 4 major platforms right there. Not even to mention that LinkedIn and Twitter both accept those video formats. I mean, we're talking 6 platforms. You can make one video that hits 6 platforms. You can't tweet and hit 5 platforms. You cannot get a graphic and hit 5 platforms. You can't do it. And so the fact that you can make one piece of content and hit all these different channels, because diversifying your content on social media is a big deal nowadays, especially if you're trying to reach a much wider audience. And we have some really, really other cool stats that kind of talk about this. But beside the stats, there's something that is captivating in the short form video. And what it is this is something that I think is wildly underestimating, is it's challenging the whole concept of storytelling. The idea that you have to be able to tell a story and resonate with somebody in 60 to 90 seconds. And this is how people are consuming these stories nowadays. I mean, you're literally talking to somebody, whether it's an educational product, could be Joe from Adobe is like, hey, I'm Joe, and I'm going to teach you how to do masking on this graphic design in 60 seconds because you want to get that perfect flyer out or whatever. You're now trying to find a problem, create the tension of that problem, solve that pain point, and show them how to do it within 60 to 90 seconds. And brevity is king when it comes to this. So it's changing the landscape of how we tell stories, how we educate people. It is a big deal.
Yeah. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Video, I mean, it's hard to even, quantify. but you can communicate so much about your organization
Yes.
in a video, and you can communicate even more when you do it frequently,
Yes.
right? Because you're solidifying who you are as an organization. You know, the people that you're here to serve as an organization can be communicated directly and indirectly when you do it well and you do it often.
Yeah.
So it's where the attention at. It's a massive opportunity to take advantage of.
Let's talk about some tips how to get into short form videos, some things to think through, things like that. Because obviously we've been harping for a minute its importance, how it's already impacted the landscape and things like that, and it's just that important. But some tips here's some feedback I hear on a pretty regular basis, and we could beat this up as much as you want. A lot of people think I gotta have like a fancy rig, fancy setup, fancy everything, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, what we're shooting on here is it's not an iPhone, but
Right.
there's levels to it where I don't think the entry to short form video is as big as most people think. And that's usually a big obstacle for churches, for businesses, for whatever it is. It's I don't have all this equipment. I don't have the camera, the Sonys, the whatever. I don't have the microphones to get into this. I don't think you need anything more.
You technically don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and the barrier to entry to this is the lowest out of almost anything else.
Yes. Yeah.
Literally anything. Because if you think about other forms of marketing, there is a little bit of a setup. You got to create the graphic. You got to write the email. You got to you know, like, but this, you just hold up your phone literally and just go.
Yeah.
And so I would say that, you know, don't get hung up on being perfect. You know, just start.
Mm-hmm.
You know, analysis paralysis is a big deal. And if you get too hung up on trying to make it perfect, I mean, I promise you, I've definitely shot on iPhones. Like, you've brought this up a level, but if it weren't for this, I would literally be in my office just, you know, hey guys, like that's been
Welcome
there, done
to
that.
The podcast.
Yeah, I would do it because you can, and the quality that's on an iPhone is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's great, and so
just get started.
Yeah, don't choke yourself out on the notion of I got to go buy a camera, I got to go learn how to use a camera, all that stuff. Even if it's like you sitting in service and you're getting like worship clips like that, or if you're getting like when I was working at the church, I mean, we had iPhone worship clips that went viral on TikTok that I was like, are you serious? Yeah, that's a very real thing. And so the barrier to entry is low. Now let me flip the other caveat where the barrier to entry is not super low. The barrier to entry on where it's not low is when you want to start fancifying, if that's even a word, when you really want to do some video editing, the barrier to entry is not low. The barrier to entry is a lot harder in that, because we obviously as a marketing company will do things like that for people, and that's been a caveat is editing, but you don't even need to get into all that stuff. I would say just put it out. But when you start entering into the editing world and the coloring and all that stuff, that's where a lot of people have reached out to us.
Yep.
And said like, hey, I don't want to do all these captions and the chopping and the editing and all that stuff. That's where the barrier to entry does get there. But even then, it's been worth it for a lot of people. Even then, it's a big worth it.
Yep. So number one is just start. Don't worry about perfection. I think number two is serve your audience. Right? This is not the time to do chest beating. This is the time where you are literally thinking about, you know, what you're on mission for, you know, what is your purpose, and you serve people through content with that purpose. And I think that's huge. And as a church, we're not saying use short form video exclusively for sign up for our small group, visit us on Easter Sunday. You're going to probably do those things from time to time.
Sure.
But the goal is to say, hey, I'm in, you know, my home. I've just put my kids to bed. I'm hanging out, trying to chill. I'm on YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels or whatever, and you want to target me just with like an inspirational, like encouragement, piece of the sermon,
Mm-hmm.
right? So serve the audience.
Yeah.
Don't serve yourself. Serve the audience, and it will come from that. Like you'll see success stories out of serving your audience first. Agree?
Yeah. There's something that we've posted on our Instagram a few times where it talks about social media is about connection, not attention. And it's true, social media is social first. And so that's, it's a great tie into serving your audience. In fact, one of the stats that we had written down was that 67% of people who interacted with a brand's video felt more connected to the brand than otherwise. And so that's an important fact of like, you want to put out the stuff that is resonating with your people, which to kind of lean into that, we listed a bunch of platforms earlier, like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all that stuff that you could post video on. And that could kind of seem overwhelming, but in collaboration with serving your audience, you may not need to post to all those platforms, but you need to post where your people are. Mm-hmm. You talk about serving your audience. Well, where are your people? Are you trying to reach a Gen Z demographic? Post on TikTok. They're there. They're hanging out. Are you trying to reach a millennial demographic? Post on Instagram Reels. That's where they're hanging out. Are you trying to reach a more legacy and older demographic? Post on Facebook and YouTube Shorts. That's where they are. They're searching how to do something, or they're just on Facebook Reels, which, by the way, Facebook Reels is wildly underestimated right now.
Yeah, it's taken off.
It is taking off. So all that in collaboration to the concept of how big short form video is, to how you can use it, to how to actually connect it with your people. You want to connect it with the right people. Agree, disagree?
Totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. You go where your people are. Again, on the church side, ministry is about being where people are.
Mm-hmm.
This is where people are. If people were in a different spot, then you would go then. Like times are going to change. Like 10 years from now, a short form video, I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you have a heart for ministry, this is where people are.
Yeah. Question that I've heard a million times, and we could probably wrap it up because this is, you guys get it. But in the sense of the investment, a lot of people think the investment is big, and they think there are trends. Obviously in social media, there are trends. The question we get is like, okay, yeah, short form video is grown. Is it a trend? Is this going away anytime soon, or is it growing? And from what we're finding is it's growing.
It's still on the growth curve. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still on the growth curve. It's not going away, and the investment is worth it because it does. It takes more investment to create a video, chop up a video, whatever. Even if you outsource it, right? Yeah. You still got to have video content, whatever it is, but it's not going away, and we would say it's worth the investment.
For sure.
Any other thoughts there?
What is the opportunity cost to not doing it? And that is... That's a good thought. There's a big cost to not doing it. You're leaving it for a business. They get 93% of them get a customer off of that. What does that customer look like to you as a business?
Yeah.
How much is that worth? Well, if you don't do it, then you're missing out on that opportunity. That's a pretty big cost.
Yeah.
From my standpoint, as a church, the cost of not investing in the ministry of being online with short form video it's really tough to stay connected Monday through Saturday.
Yeah.
There are 168 hours in the week. 166 of them, 98.8% of them are spent outside the four walls of your church. What is your cost to not investing in where they are? And you have to think about that. And so I think there's a cost to not doing it. So yeah, that would be my final thoughts. Anything else we can wrap up?
No, honestly, I'd just love to hear what you guys think. If you want to drop some knowledge in the comments, or honestly drop a question in the comments if you guys have questions about it. We love to help churches and nonprofits and faith-based organizations with their social media. We're constantly on the lookout for trends and ideas and stats and things that we have to be on top of it so you don't have to. And so that's just a big thing. If you have questions, throw them in there. We'd love to help.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have enjoyed the content, you want to learn more about our company, Missio, you can visit our website. It's missiodigital.com. We'd love to help and support however we can. We have some free resources. Or if you want to have a direct one-on-one call with us, you certainly can. Just contact us. We'll be more than happy to chat with you guys. So thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it.
See you next time.